The shuttle doors opened with a soft hiss and stepped onto Station Helix 9 for the first time. The air smelled clean, almost too clean, like nothing he had ever breathed on Earth. Around him, hundreds of beings moved through the massive arrival hall. Some walked on two legs like him. Others floated. A few crawled on 6 limbs across the walls. Was 22 years old. He had grown up in a coastal city on Earth. He had worked on fishing boats with his father. He had studied hard to pass the Coalition entrance exams. And now he stood in a space station orbiting a planet 3,000 light-years from home. He was the 7th human ever accepted into the Galactic Coalition Military Academy. A small screen on his wrist buzzed. It showed a map with a blinking dot. His barracks were on level 12, Section C. He adjusted the heavy bag on his shoulder and started walking. The first thing noticed was how light he felt. Each step carried him further than expected. He almost tripped twice before he learned to walk more carefully. On Earth, gravity pressed down on everything. Here, it was different, weaker. His body wanted to jump when he only meant to walk. A group of tall, blue-skinned cadets watched him pass. They were, he knew from his studies. They had long arms and sharp eyes. One of them laughed and said something in a language he did not understand, but he understood the tone. They were making fun of him. He kept walking. The barracks were small but clean. 8 beds lined the walls, 4 on each side. Only 2 other cadets were inside when arrived. One was a short creature covered in hard, shiny plates, an insect-like being called a. The other was a 4-armed figure with skin, sitting quietly on a bed in the corner. Found an empty bed and set down his bag. The looked at him with large, curious eyes. "You are a human," she said. Her voice clicked softly between words. "Yes," said, "my name is." "I am," she tilted her head. "I have never seen a human before. You are smaller than I expected." Smiled, "I get that a lot." He spent the next hour unpacking and learning the layout of the station. The academy was enormous. It trained cadets from over 40 different species. Some came from ancient civilizations that had traveled the stars for thousands of years. Others, like humans, were newcomers. Earth had only made contact with the Coalition 15 years ago. That evening, all new cadets gathered in a large hall for orientation. Commander stood at the front. He was a species with 4 arms and a face like carved stone. His voice boomed through the room without any need for speakers. "You are here because your worlds believe you are worthy," Commander said. "But belief means nothing. In this academy you will prove your worth through action, through sweat, through pain. Those who cannot keep up will be sent home." Listened carefully. Around him, cadets from every corner of the galaxy sat in nervous silence. "Tomorrow the physical trials begin," the commander continued. "Rest well tonight, you will need it." After the orientation, wandered the halls alone. He found a viewing deck with massive windows that looked out into space. Stars filled the darkness in every direction. Somewhere out there, too far to see, was Earth. His mother and father, his younger sister, the ocean he had grown up beside. He missed them already. "You should not be here alone." Turned, a woman stood behind him. She was human, with short black hair and tired eyes. She looked a few years older than him. "I am Park," she said, "senior cadet, 3rd year." "A 1st year." Walked to the window and stood beside him. For a moment she said nothing. Then she spoke in Korean, their shared language, so others could not understand. "You need to be careful here," she said. Frowned. "Careful of what?" "Of yourself." She looked at him with serious eyes. "How do you feel since you arrived?" "Strange," he admitted. "Everything feels light, like I could jump and never come down." Nodded slowly. "That is because you are strong here, stronger than you know. Earth's gravity is heavy, much heavier than most Coalition worlds. Our bodies grew up under that weight. Our bones are dense. Our muscles are thick. Here you are like a giant among children." Stared at her. That cannot be true. I am just a normal person. You were normal on Earth, said. Here you are something else, and that makes others afraid. She glanced around to make sure no one was listening. The coalition accepted humans because they thought we were weak. Small planet, young species, no threat. If they learn what we really are, things will change, and not in a good way. What are you saying? I am saying you should hold back. Do not show them everything you can do. Not yet. They are not ready. Did not understand. He had come here to serve, to prove that humans belonged among the stars. How could he do that while hiding? But before he could ask more questions, walked away. That night could not sleep. He lay in his bed and stared at the ceiling, made soft clicking sounds as she slept in the bed across from him. Outside the small window, stars drifted slowly past. He thought about what it said. It did not make sense. He was not strong. On Earth, he was average. Maybe a little fit from working on boats, but nothing special. The idea that he could be dangerous to anyone seemed like a joke. Around midnight, the lights in the hallway flickered. A soft alarm rang once, then stopped. Power fluctuation, probably. The station was old. Needed to use the bathroom. He climbed out of bed and walked to the door. When he pressed the button to open it, nothing happened. The power must have cut to this section. He saw a manual handle on the side of the door, a backup system. He grabbed it and pulled. The handle came off in his hand. Stared at it. The metal was bent and torn like he had ripped it from wet paper. He had barely pulled it all. His heart beat faster. He looked around. No one had seen. Quickly, he hid the broken handle under his mattress and climbed back into bed. He lay there in the darkness, his hands shaking. What it said was true. He could feel it now. The weight of understanding pressing down on him like the gravity of home. He was not normal here. And tomorrow, everyone would watch him in the physical trials. Everyone would see what he could do, unless he found a way to hide it. Sleep came slowly, filled with dreams of oceans and stars and a door handle made of paper. When morning came, dressed in his cadet uniform and followed the others to the training grounds, his body felt light, his mind felt heavy. Warning echoed in his head. They are not ready. Looked at the cadets around him, with their proud faces, working in small groups, standing tall on their 4 legs, all of them trained from birth, all of them believing humans were the weakest beings in the galaxy. He took a deep breath. The trials were about to begin. The training grounds were larger than any field had ever seen. The floor was made of dark metal that stretched in every direction. Tall walls surrounded the area, covered with viewing platforms where senior cadets and officers watched from above. Commander stood in the center of the field. Behind him, dozens of large metal crates sat in neat rows. Each crate was the same size, about as tall as chest and twice as wide. Today you will prove your strength, Commander announced. His 4 arms were folded behind his back. Each crate weighs 120 galactic standard units. You will carry your crate across the training field to the marked line. Those who cannot complete this task will receive a failing mark. Did the math in his head. 120 galactic units. He had studied the conversion tables on the journey here. That was roughly 150 kilograms in Earth measurements. He looked at the crate. On Earth, that would be difficult for most people. Not impossible, but hard. He had lifted heavy nets on the fishing boats. He had carried equipment up steep hills. But 150 kilograms was serious weight. Then he remembered, the gravity here was weaker, much weaker. A cold feeling spread through his stomach. The first squad stepped forward. They were large 4-armed beings with thick legs. The first cadet grabbed his crate with all 4 arms and lifted. His face twisted with effort. His legs shook. Slowly, painfully, he carried the crate across the field. It took him nearly 3 minutes. When he dropped it at the finish line, he collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. The crowd above clapped politely. More squads followed. Some cadets failed completely. They could not lift the crates at all. Others managed to drag them across the floor but could not carry them properly. Each successful carry earned respect. Each failure earned silence. Then they stepped forward. Watched carefully. They were supposed to be the strongest species in the coalition. Their bodies were tall and lean, built for power. The first cadet, a male named Vel, approached his crate with confidence. Vel grabbed the crate with both hands. His muscles tensed. With a grunt of effort, he lifted it off the ground. His arms shook, but he walked steadily across the field. When he reached the finish line, he set the crate down with a heavy thud. He was breathing fast, but he stood tall and raised his fist in victory. The crowd erupted in cheers. Officers nodded with approval. Vel smiled proudly at his fellow. "The standard is set," Commander said. "Let us see who can match it." More species tried. They worked in teams of 4, combining their strength to move a single crate. They were small and light, not built for this kind of task, but they finished together, which earned them a passing mark. Finally, it was Squad 12's turn. Stood with his squad at the edge of the field. His teammates were nervous. Most of them came from low-gravity worlds. They knew they would struggle. "I cannot lift that," whispered one of them, a thin being with pale skin. "It is impossible." Said nothing. He stared at the crate waiting for him. His heart was pounding. Words echoed in his mind. "Do not show them everything you can do." But how could he hide this? Everyone was watching. If he pretended to struggle, it would feel like a lie. If he showed his real strength, everything would change. Cadet and Commander called, "Step forward." The crowd went quiet. Everyone knew about the human, the strange newcomer from the heavy little planet. Many expected him to fail immediately. Walked to his crate. It sat on the ground like a sleeping animal, dark metal with smooth sides, 120 galactic units. He bent his knees and grabbed the handles on each side. He pulled. The crate flew up so fast that almost fell backward. It felt like nothing, like an empty box, like a pillow filled with air. Without thinking, he adjusted his grip to one hand. He was holding the crate with one hand. The entire training ground went silent. Looked around, confused. Everyone was staring at him. Officers on the platforms above. Every single eye was fixed on him and the crate dangling from his fingers. "Is this the right one?" asked. No one answered. Commander stepped closer. His stone face showed no emotion, but his eyes were wide. "Put it down," the commander said. "Set the crate on the ground gently." "Now lift that one." Commander pointed to another crate beside it. Walked over and picked it up. Again, it felt like nothing. He held it in his other hand. Now he was holding 2 crates, one in each hand, 300 kilograms total, and he was standing straight, breathing normally, like he was holding bags of groceries. "Walk," Commander ordered. Walked across the training field. His steps were steady. His arms did not shake. When he reached the finish line, he set both crates down without effort. The silence stretched on. Then whispers began, quiet at first, then louder. Cadets from every species were talking, pointing, staring. Some looked amazed, others looked frightened. Vel, the who had been so proud moments ago, stood frozen. His face had turned pale. His hands were clenched into fists. "What is he?" someone whispered. "Impossible," said another. "That is not possible." Commander raised his hand for silence. The whispers stopped. "Cadet," he said slowly, "report to my office after the trials." Nodded. He did not know what else to do. As he walked back to his squad, the other cadets moved away from him. They created a circle of empty space around him, like he was dangerous, like he was a predator walking among prey. Was the only one who did not move. She stood in her spot, her large eyes blinking at him. "That was very impressive," she said quietly. Tried to smile, but his face felt stiff. "I do not know what happened." "You are strong," said simply. Very, very strong. The rest of the trials passed in a blur, watched but did not really see. His mind was spinning. He thought about the broken door handle from last night. He thought about its warning. He thought about the fear in the eyes of every cadet who looked at him. He had not meant to show them. It had just happened. The crate was supposed to be heavy, but it was not heavy to him. His body did not know how to pretend. When the trials ended, made his way through the halls alone. Cadets whispered as he passed. Some crossed to the other side of the corridor to avoid him. He found waiting outside his barracks. Her arms were crossed and her face was tight with worry. "I saw what happened," she said in Korean. "I did not mean to," replied. "I did not know it would be so light." Sighed, "It does not matter now. They all saw. The whole academy is talking about you." "What will happen?" "I do not know," she looked at him with something close to sadness. "But things will be different now, for you, for all of us." Leaned against the wall. His body felt light, but his heart felt heavier than any crate. "What are humans?" someone had asked on the training ground. It was a question had never thought about before. On Earth he was just a person, a fisherman's son, a dreamer who wanted to see the stars. But here, among the galaxy's finest, he was something else entirely. He just did not know what that something was yet. 3 days passed after the physical trials, and his life became very different. Wherever he walked, whispers followed. Cadets stopped talking when he entered rooms. Some stared at him with wide eyes. Others quickly looked away as if meeting his gaze was dangerous. In the mess hall, a circle of empty seats surrounded him at every meal. He ate alone. The fear was everywhere. He could feel it in the air like a cold wind. He had done nothing wrong. He had only lifted some crates, but to everyone else he had done something impossible. He had broken their understanding of how the universe worked. Vel and his friends were the worst. They did not run from. Instead, they watched him constantly. Their eyes were filled with anger and suspicion, had been the strongest for centuries. Now a small, soft-skinned human had made Vel look weak in front of everyone. "Freak," Vel muttered one day as passed him in the corridor. Kept walking, he did not want trouble. "I am talking to you, human," Vel said louder. Stopped, he turned slowly. Vel stood with 3 others behind him. Their tall bodies blocked the corridor. "What do you want?" asked calmly. "I want to know what you are," Vel said. His voice was cold. "Humans are supposed to be weak, small, fragile. You are none of those things, so what trick did you use?" "There was no trick." "Lies." Vel stepped closer. He was a full head taller than. "No species is that strong. You must have technology hidden in your body, machines under your skin." "I do not have any machines," said. "I am just a person." Vel laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You are a monster. Your whole species must be monsters. The coalition made a mistake letting your kind in." Felt anger rising in his chest. He pushed it down. "I did not come here to fight." "Maybe you should leave before someone makes you." For a long moment, neither of them moved. The corridor was silent. Could feel his heart beating. His hands wanted to become fists, but he kept them open at his sides. Finally, he turned and walked away. Behind him, Vel shouted, "This is not over, human." That evening, found in the observation deck. She was sitting on a bench, staring out at the stars. He sat down beside her without speaking. "You handled that well," she said after a moment. "With the... You saw." "Everyone saw. There are cameras everywhere," she sighed. "You are famous now, or maybe infamous." Rubbed his face with his hands. "I do not understand any of this. On Earth, I was nobody special. I could not even beat my cousin in arm wrestling." Smiled slightly. "Your cousin is also human. Here you are comparing yourself to beings who grew up on worlds with half the gravity, some with a quarter. Their bodies are light. Their bones are thin like paper. They look big, but they are built for their environments, not ours. But are supposed to be strong. Are strong for the coalition. On there they are powerful hunters, but their world has weak gravity and thin air. They develop size to capture heat and cover distance. Looked at him. Earth is different. Earth is a death world. Frowned. A death world. That is what the Coalition calls planets like ours. Worlds that are harsh, dangerous, full of threats that force life to become hard just to survive. She counted on her fingers. High gravity, extreme weather, predators everywhere, diseases that can kill in days, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods. Humans evolved to survive all of it. Had never thought about Earth that way. To him it was just home, oceans and mountains, cities and farms. Sometimes storms came and you stayed inside. Sometimes the ground shook and you held on to something. That was just life. Most Coalition species come from gentle worlds, continued. Stable climates, low gravity, few predators. They developed intelligence and technology, but their bodies stayed soft. Humans developed intelligence too, but we also had to be strong, fast, tough. Our bodies became weapons because they had to be. Is that why you told me to hide what I could do? Nodded slowly. The Coalition accepted humans because they thought we were harmless. A young species from a small planet, eager to learn, no threat to anyone. That image protects Earth. If the Coalition learns the truth that we are stronger than almost any species in the galaxy, they might see us as a danger. Would they attack Earth? Maybe not attack, but they could isolate us, ban us from travel, keep us trapped on our own world forever. Her voice grew quiet. I have spent 3 years here hiding what I can do, moving slowly, pretending to struggle, all to keep that image alive. Looked at his hands, the same hands that had lifted 300 kilograms like nothing. I cannot take back what happened. Everyone already saw. I know, put a hand on his shoulder. We will have to deal with whatever comes next. The next morning received a message on his wrist screen. Commander wanted to see him. Again. He walked to the commander's office with a heavy feeling in his stomach. When he arrived, the door opened automatically. Commander sat behind a large desk covered in screens and reports. Sit, the commander said. Sat. For a long moment, Commander said nothing. He studied with his deep, ancient eyes. Then he spoke. I have served in the Coalition military for 40 years. I have trained cadets from every species. I have seen strength and weakness in all forms. He leaned forward. I have never seen anything like you. Did not know what to say. I contacted Earth, the commander continued. I asked for information about human biology. They sent me research files. He tapped his desk, and a screen lit up with data. Your bone density is 4 times higher than us. Your muscle fiber count is beyond anything we have on record. Your endurance levels are off our scales. Stared at the numbers. They meant nothing to him. He was just a normal human. Why did your people not tell us this before? Commander asked. I do not think we knew, said honestly. On Earth, everyone is like me. It is normal there. The commander sat back in his chair, his 4 arms crossed in front of him. The High Council is asking questions. Some members are concerned. They want to know if humans are dangerous. We are not dangerous, said quickly. We came to the Coalition to learn, to help, to be part of something bigger. Perhaps, Commander's voice was flat, but fear does not listen to reason, and right now many people are afraid. He dismissed with a wave of one hand. As walked back to his barracks, he passed in the corridor. She was the only cadet who still smiled at him. Are you all right? She asked. I do not know, he admitted. She walked beside him in silence. Her small legs clicked softly on the metal floor. After a while she spoke. On my world there is a saying, strength without heart is just destruction, but strength with heart is protection. She looked up at him. I do not think you are dangerous, I think you are kind. Felt warmth spread through his chest. In a station full of fear and suspicion, one small still saw him as a friend. Thank you, he said. She clicked happily. Now come, it is time for evening meal, I will sit with you. For the first time in 3 days, did not eat alone. The challenge came 1 week after the physical trials. Was in the training hall, practicing basic combat moves alone. Most cadets avoided training when he was there, so he had the room to himself. He was throwing punches at a practice dummy when the doors opened behind him. He turned to see Vel standing at the entrance. Behind him were several cadets and a crowd of others who had followed to watch. Vel said loudly, "I challenge you to a formal duel." The words echoed through the empty hall, lowered his fist slowly. "A duel. It is an ancient tradition," Vel continued. "When one cadet believes another has disrespected their species, they may issue a challenge, combat, one-on-one, no weapons. The fight ends when one submits or cannot continue." Felt the weight of many eyes on him. The crowd behind Vel was growing. Word was spreading fast. "I have not disrespected anyone," said calmly. "You humiliated me in front of the entire academy." Vel's voice was sharp like broken glass. "You made the people look weak. That is disrespect." "I only lifted some crates. I did not mean to shame you." Vel stepped closer. His tall body cast a long shadow across the floor. "If you refuse the challenge, you will be expelled from the academy. That is the rule. Cowards are not welcome here." Felt his stomach tighten. He looked past Vel at the crowd. He saw his worried face near the back. He saw other cadets whispering to each other. Somewhere in the hallway beyond, he knew would hear about this soon. He had no choice. "I accept," said. Vel smiled. It was not a kind smile. Tomorrow, the combat arena, full academy attendance. He turned and walked away. His friends followed, talking excitedly among themselves. That night came to find in his barracks. Her face was pale with worry. "You cannot fight him," she said in Korean. "If you win, they will fear humans even more. If you lose, they will think you are weak. Either way, it is bad." "I had no choice," said, refusing meant expulsion. Sat down on his bed. She was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "Then you must find a middle path. Win, but do not destroy him. Show strength, but also show mercy. Make them see that humans are powerful but not cruel." Nodded slowly, "I understand." But inside, he was not sure he could do it. He had never been in a real fight before. On Earth, he had argued with classmates and pushed his cousin into the ocean once. But actual combat was different, and Vel had been training his whole life. Morning came too quickly. The combat arena was a circular platform in the center of a massive hall. Seats rose up on all sides like the inside of a bowl. Every seat was filled. Cadets from every species had come to watch. Officers stood on elevated platforms. Commander himself was present, his 4 arms folded behind his back. Walked to the arena alone. He wore the standard training uniform. No armor, no protection, just thin fabric over skin. Vel was already waiting. His blue skin seemed to glow under the bright lights. His body was lean and muscular. He moved with the confidence of someone who had won many fights before. "Ready to learn your place, human?" Vel called out. Did not answer. He stepped onto the platform and took a deep breath. The crowd went silent. Commander raised one hand. "The rules are simple. No weapons, no attacks to kill. The fight ends when one submits or cannot continue. Begin." Vel attacked immediately. He was fast, faster than expected. His long arms swung in wide arcs, aiming for his head and body. Stepped back, dodging the first strike. The second caught him on the shoulder. The third hit his ribs. The crowd cheered. Felt the impacts. They hurt, but not as much as they should have. On Earth, those punches would have been serious. Here, with the weaker gravity and Vel's lighter body, they felt like someone throwing pillows. But he could not let Vel know that. Stumbled backward, pretending the hits were affecting him more than they were. He needed time to think, time to plan. Vel pressed forward, throwing more punches. His movements were skilled and practiced. He had trained in combat arts since childhood. Every strike flowed into the next like water. Blocked what he could and took the rest. His arms absorbed the blows. His body moved with the impacts instead of against them. To the crowd, it looked like he was losing. But he was learning. After 2 minutes of constant attack, Vel began to slow. His breathing grew heavy. Sweat appeared on his blue skin. The lighter gravity worked both ways. Vel was not used to long fights. His body was designed for quick kills, not endurance. Was barely tired. "Why will you not fall?" Vel shouted in frustration. He threw a powerful kick at its legs. Caught it. He held Vel's leg in one hand like it weighed nothing. Vel's eyes went wide with shock. He tried to pull free, but its grip was iron. "Let go," Vel demanded. Instead pushed, gently, just enough to throw Vel off balance. The stumbled backward and fell to the ground. The crowd gasped. Vel scrambled to his feet. His face was twisted with rage. He charged with both fists swinging wildly. There was no technique now, only anger. Stopped holding back. He caught Vel's first punch and twisted his arm aside. He stepped forward and placed his palm flat against Vel's chest. Then he pushed. Vel flew backward across the arena. He hit the ground hard and slid to a stop at the edge of the platform. Complete silence filled the hall. Walked toward Vel slowly. Tried to stand, but his legs shook beneath him. His chest heaved with each breath. He looked up with fear in his eyes. This was the moment. Could end it here. He could hurt Vel badly enough that no one would ever challenge him again. He could prove that humans were the strongest, the most dangerous, the ones to fear. Instead, he stopped. "You fight well," said quietly, "but this is over." Vel stared at him. His mouth opened, but no words came out. "Submit," said, "there is no shame in it." For a long moment, nothing happened. The crowd held its breath. Officers leaned forward in their seats. Then Vel closed his eyes. "I submit," he said. "Step back." He offered his hand to Vel. The looked at the hand like it was a snake, but slowly, hesitantly, he reached up and took it, pulled him to his feet. The crowd remained silent. No one knew how to react. This was not how duels ended. There was supposed to be victory and defeat, winners and losers, not this strange moment of respect between enemies. Commander's voice cut through the silence. "The duel is concluded. Is the victor." Walked off the platform. His legs felt steady. His heart beat calmly. He had found the middle path. He had won without destroying. As he passed through the crowd, he saw standing near the exit. Her eyes were wet. She nodded once slowly. Behind him, Vel stood alone on the platform. His pride was broken. His beliefs were shattered, but he was alive, and something in his eyes had changed. Something that looked almost like respect. 2 weeks after the duel, received a message that changed everything. He was in the mess hall eating breakfast when his wrist screen buzzed. The message was short but heavy with meaning. The Coalition High Council requested his presence at their headquarters on Station Prime. A transport ship would arrive in 3 hours. Read the message twice. His food grew cold. "What does it say?" asked, her large eyes watching him carefully. "The High Council wants to meet me." Swings twitched nervously. The High Council rules the entire coalition. They only meet with important people, presidents, generals, leaders. I am none of those things. Maybe they do not see it that way. Found and told her the news. She listened quietly, her face unreadable. "This was always going to happen," she said when he finished. "After the trials, after the duel, word spread across the galaxy. Everyone knows about the human who lifts mountains and shows mercy to his enemies. What should I say to them?" Was quiet for a moment, then she placed her hand on his shoulder. "The truth, whatever that means to you." 3 hours later, boarded a small transport ship. He traveled alone, watching the stars pass through the window. Station Prime grew larger as they approached. It was the biggest structure had ever seen. A massive ring of metal and light, home to millions of beings from across the galaxy. Officers met him at the docking bay and led him through endless corridors. They did not speak. Their faces were serious and formal, felt like a small fish swimming through a very large ocean. The High Council chamber was a circular room with a domed ceiling made of transparent glass. Through it, could see stars in every direction. The universe stretched above him like an infinite painting. 12 seats formed a half-circle at the far end of the room. In each seat sat a council member, recognized some species from his studies. Others were strange and unfamiliar, ancient beings from worlds he had never heard of. One seat in the center was occupied by the oldest creature had ever seen. It had no arms or legs, just a floating body wrapped in soft light. Its voice entered his mind directly when it spoke. "Of Earth, welcome to the High Council." Bowed respectfully, "Thank you for inviting me." "We did not invite you for thanks." A council member spoke now. His voice was cold. "We invited you to answer questions, many questions about your species." Another council member, a tall insect-like being, added, "Your display of strength has concerned many in the coalition. Some believe humans are a threat to galactic peace." Felt the weight of their eyes on him. 12 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, all watching, all judging. His mouth felt dry, but he forced himself to speak clearly. "I understand your concerns," he said. "On Earth, we have a saying, fear is born from not understanding. Maybe I can help you understand." "Then explain," they demanded. "How is your species so strong? What makes you different from everyone else?" Thought about everything had told him, about death worlds and heavy gravity, about bones like stone and muscles built for survival. But he knew that facts alone would not calm their fear. "Earth is a hard place," he began. "Our gravity is heavy. Our weather is violent. We share our world with animals that hunt us and diseases that kill us. Every day of human history has been a fight to survive." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "But we are not just survivors. We are dreamers. For thousands of years, we looked up at the sky and wondered if we were alone. We sent messages into space, hoping someone would answer. We built ships that could leave our planet because we wanted to meet whoever was out there." The council members listened in silence. "When the coalition found us," continued, "we cried with joy, not because we wanted power, not because we wanted to conquer, but because finally, after so long, we were not alone anymore." The ancient being in the center seat spoke into his mind again. "Yet you possess strength that surpasses nearly every species in the coalition. Surely you must recognize the danger this presents." "I recognize it," admitted. "But strength does not make someone dangerous. What makes someone dangerous is what they choose to do with their strength." He thought about the duel with Vel, the moment when he could have hurt him badly but chose not to. "Humans are strong," said, "but we have always used our strength to protect, not destroy. We protect our families, our friends, our world, and now that we are part of the coalition, we want to protect this too." Silence filled the chamber. The council members looked at each other. Some seemed thoughtful, others remained suspicious. Finally, the ancient being spoke again. "I have lived for 3,000 years. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched species destroy themselves and destroy each other. In all that time, I have learned one truth." Every eye in the room turned to the floating figure. "The measure of a species is not what they can destroy. It is what they choose to protect." The words hung in the air like music. "This human came to our academy not to prove dominance but to prove worth. He showed strength that frightened us, but he also showed mercy that surprised us. He could have crushed his opponent, but he chose kindness instead." The ancient being's light pulsed gently. "That is not the behavior of a threat. That is the behavior of an ally." The council member shifted uncomfortably. Are we truly prepared to trust a species we barely know? Trust is built over time, the ancient being replied. But it must start somewhere. I vote to approve Earth's application for full coalition membership. One by one, other council members spoke. Some supported the motion, others expressed doubt. The debate continued for nearly an hour. In the end, the vote was 8-4 in favor. Earth was officially a full member of the Galactic Coalition. Felt his eyes grow wet. He thought of his mother and father his sister who dreamed of seeing other planets, all of humanity looking up at the stars, waiting and hopping. "Thank you," he said softly. The ancient being's voice echoed in his mind one last time. "Thank yourself. You represented your people well. Go back to your academy and continue becoming who you are meant to be." When returned to Station Helix 9, everything felt different. The whispers were still there, but they had changed. Less fear, more curiosity. Some cadets even nodded at him as he passed. Was waiting at the docking bay with beside her. Both were smiling. "I heard the news," said. "Full membership, you did it." "We did it," corrected. "You helped me understand, believed in me when no one else would." Wings fluttered happily. "I knew you were kind. Kind beings do not fail." A voice called from behind them, "Human." Turned, Vel stood a few meters away, his arms crossed, but his expression was different now, softer, less angry. "I heard what you said to the council," Vel said slowly, "about protecting instead of destroying." He paused as if the next words were difficult. "Perhaps I judged your species too quickly." Nodded. "Perhaps we all judge too quickly." Vel extended one hand, a gesture of respect between. "I would like to train with you sometime, if you are willing." Took his hand. "I would like that." That evening, graduation ceremonies were held for all cadets who had completed their first year, stood in line with the others. Beside him were, and surprisingly, Vel. Squad 12 had become something none of them expected. A team. A family. When's name was called, he walked forward to receive his medal. Commander pinned it to his chest personally. "You have exceeded every expectation," the commander said quietly. "Your people should be proud." After the ceremony, walked to the observation deck. He stood at the window and looked out at the endless stars. Somewhere out there was Earth. Home. He pressed his hand against the glass. The galaxy had always wondered if humans were dangerous. Now they knew the answer. Yes, but only to those who threatened what they loved. And to everyone else, humans were something much more important. They were friends,